All right. Okay, that's good. Thanks, Steve. What I'll do is I'll just give you a few things to think about that might help with your playing. The first thing is you kind of want to isolate things so that you're improving little bits of your playing. So for one example is like when you're playing chords, is that if you can see my hand here, I'll bring it up nice and close. When I play a chord, say a D chord there, you can see my fingers are very close to the fret. So I'm like that and like that. So when I change between, let's say the D chord and the G chord, you can see my fingers are always pretty close to the fret. In many cases, they're just behind, maybe a millimeter behind. So what it does is it makes it easier to play, because the further back you are, the harder you have to press down. And this is one of the biggest differences between the pro players and your general amateur type players. So that's one thing to concentrate on, and just think about the different fingers and just these chords. In fact, it's probably better just to have 6-7 chords and really get good at these placements, because from there on, even if you're playing, people will hear the difference. You can hear how clean that chord is. I only have the electric here, I don't have an acoustic, so I can't really demonstrate, but hopefully you can hear that. So the other thing is, if we go to the right hand, is that you really want to listen to every note. So if you're playing, say, the G chord here, just make sure you go through every single string and make sure it sounds clear. And then when you're strumming, do it kind of in slow motion and listen to the sound quality, because it's not just here, but it's also how you're strumming. So if you really slow it down, like I said, into slow motion, and get that clean, get it so it's like a nice, clean, beautiful sort of hit across. So when you hit the strings, that you hit it, and it's even rhythmic, because guitar is very rhythmic. If you hear when I'm muted there, it should sound good without any chords, just muting. So that's where, again, another part of your isolation is that you want to isolate. So you're just doing rhythm. So if you just do exercises like 1 and 2, 3, 4, and do it with a metronome, and then go to 1, 2, and 3, 4, and so on. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and lastly 1, 2, 3, 4, and like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you'll get better and better at it. And then once you've sort of got those down, and you always improve. Like there's no end to this. It's just always get better. The sound, the upstrokes should sound nice in comparison. As you get better at it, then you can start to incorporate rhythm into the left hand as well. This might be getting a little bit ahead, but these are the little things that make the difference in the way different players sound in terms of, again, amateur, professional. So, for example, if I play a D minor bar chord here, one of the things with your bar there, of course, you want to keep working on the bar. I'll do that first, so that when you do the bar, that again, you want to don't worry about the other fingers. Just get the first finger down if you want to work on bar chords, and get it so, again, every note is clear. That'll take a while. But the secret to it, if you have a look here, is that I've got my finger fairly straight. I'm not bending like that, which is what most people do. I keep a straight finger. So from more or less from that knuckle straight up, now it'll feel like impossible at first. It'll feel like, well, you can't hold the notes down. But when you bend, it's going to sound more like that, rather than, because it needs to be like a capo. It needs to be like solid on there. So once you get that down, then when you hit the other fingers onto the neck, it becomes a rhythmic thing. So it's like this. I'll do it slowly. So it's like that. You're going to hear that one, like that, one. So So I can do, so that way I'm getting different kinds of sounds. So it's not all just sounding the same. Now that there is, it's a hammer. I'm slowing that down, so da 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 hammer. And you hear that with sort of, you know, Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall. And so lots of groups do that, like, you know, Slow Train Running, Doobie Brothers. So it makes it much more colourful than just, you know, strumming straight ahead. You can see, like, say I do this is a sharp 9 chord. So here what we can do is also slides, like that. And that again is another rhythmic effect happening from here. Some of these things are a little bit advanced, but it's something that you can work towards, because, you know, I can tell you're really keen. So if you're going to, you just want to know what you're working towards, and you want to work towards all these little bits and pieces that are going to make your playing sound just different from the average guy who's strumming, you know, chords like this. So it becomes, instead of G, just G, G, D, like that sort of thing, becomes more of a. Now, again, I'll give you something else, is that I'm doing a lot of muting with my right hand. So when I'm strumming, you can see that I'm touching there. So that adds, again, a bit more feel, a bit more sort of colour. And some of those there I'm, you know, muting, again, like Honky Tonk Woman. That kind of thing. Imagine so borrowed queen in Memphis. So I've forgotten where it goes, but that kind of thing. And so when you're going to the D chord, there again, adding in the D chord is a good one, because you can sus, you can open it up to sus2, sus4. So there's a lot of things in that. So that's why a lot of players do that. In the case of A minor, you can add notes there as well and open it up. So just creating those colors from your left hand, your right hand, putting on notes, muting, etc., is just going to give it a lot more going on. So I'm just trying to think what else that you can add. I mean, you want to keep, you know, just little things like playing on the fingertips. I can't see that closely. It looks like you're doing pretty well from what I can tell. But just keep being aware of the fingertips, and of course close up to the frets there. And then if you want to do kind of more riffy stuff, again, you can do that as well. So where instead of just strumming the whole G chord and say D chord, you're just playing the rhythm, the bass notes, and that sort of thing. You remember that we, like, if you want, and also with our bar chords, you don't always have to play the whole bar chord. You can just play power chords. And that's not even a bar chord, that's just the three. There, there, and there. And that gives you that sort of ability to sort of control the notes a lot more, where a bar chord is a bit harder to do that. And then you can, if you want to look at scales, what I suggest with scales is you know, you're playing the pentatonic scale there. You can add a couple of notes in there as well if you want it more bluesy, and that's where you're going 1, 4 there. You add that second note in there, second finger on the next string, so it's like that. So that's just one octave. And if you go down to the next octave, then this time it's going to be that note there, which is on the third string. It's a C, D, and then you've got that E flat or a D sharp. So what I suggest with scale practice, a couple of things. One is just to practice a few notes at a time, so just 2 strings. Think of it like a riff almost. And you can even just practice little riffs that feel good, as long as you, because people don't play the scale. It's always in some kind of riff or phrasing, so you don't have to play it as a scale running up and down. You don't have to do that. You can do that sometimes, but you don't have to do it most of the time. So like I said, play a couple of notes and be mindful of when you're changing strings, because that's often the hardest part, is going to the next string. And there's patterns you can do where you can skip out notes. So what I'm doing there is doing that first finger there, going to the C and then to the E. I'm not doing the D. And then I'm going across. Or you can do hammers like this. This is where this extra note is really cool, because you can hammer it. So, and what I'm doing there also is pull-offs. So when you're coming down the scale, that's what I'm doing there, is a pull-off. I'm picking the first one and pulling off the second one. So that one there is hammer, pull off, hammer there. So you can see this is actually in E. This is Evie, but this is the E pentatonic because it's played in this position because the last note is the open there, which is the E. So if you're playing, say, blues in E, which is Evie, then you go here, 1, 2, 3, and you've got the open there, and then you can go 1 there to there. But the idea here is if you're doing an A pentatonic blues, A minor pentatonic, just like I said, keep picking out and riffs and look for hammers. It's really good to practice those hammer-ons. And then you've got slide into the notes. There you go, like that. And then I do these slides backwards as well. And there's lots of little things I could do, what's called a pinch harmonic. That's where you kind of make the guitar scream, but you don't have to worry about that just yet, but these are things you can look at later. But even simple things, if you listen to someone, say like B.B. King, blues player, but just a beautiful feel, simple stuff. And he's taking the blues scale and he's going often up to these extensions, which is basically when you're 1, 4, just take it up 2 frets there on those 2 strings. And then you've got that there. So he's just doing like single notes, but he's hammering like that. So, and Eric Clapton does things like that as well. So the other thing there, let's say I'll make this the final thing, is that when you're playing this scale, if you can get to know the notes and get to know where the other notes are within the scale but down lower, so you've got the G there, which the G is there, but this is the G lower, so you don't have to just stop at the A there, you can go down. And then there's an E way down there, which is in the scale as well. Like that, so you've got those extra notes so you can add again more flavor. And then, and as we said, when you go up 2 frets, and then you've also got this scale up here, so you can learn the other version, which is just it's a little bit different. I won't sort of go through it now, but you can even just use your ear and listen to it. But that'll allow you up to those higher notes. Hopefully that'll give you something to work on. Yeah, but just keep getting better. Just, yeah, there's no end.